Okay, you guys, so this video is for your at-home assignment. So Monday, people, if you come to class on Mondays, you should be completing this assignment, watching this video, completing the My Open Math assignment on Wednesday. If you come to class on Wednesday, then you should be completing this assignment on Monday. If you are a student who is completely online, you've been online since the beginning of school, then you can choose which day to complete this assignment. So this video, you don't have to fill out the notes. These are just quick examples to jog your memory on stuff we've already learned. So today it's going to be our exponents. So this is the first thing we've talked about at school this year. Okay, so exponent rules, let's actually list them out over here so we can remember what they are. Remember, we have our product rule, our quotient rule, our zero rule, negative rule, and our power to power rule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rules. Okay, so we are going to use these rules to simplify these expressions. Okay, we just have 4 examples today. It shouldn't be too long of a video, and then you are going to complete that assignment on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom into number 1. Okay, so I notice here in number 1, this little dot in the middle, that tells us that it's being multiplied. Okay, so when it tells us it's being multiplied, we know that we're at least going to have to use our product rule. Okay, with our product rule, remember that you are adding exponents. Okay, so let's look at this 2. So that's just a coefficient. There's nothing that we can combine this 2 with. If there was like, well, technically there's a 1 there, but 2 times 1 is just going to give us 1. Okay, 2 times 1, multiply those coefficients, that's just going to give us 2. I think I just misspoke. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so now we can add up the exponents, right? Meaning you need to take the same base, so that x is to the first power, y is to the third power, and then x to the second power. So let's look at our x's first. So I have x to the first power being multiplied by x to the second power. So x times x to the second, which is 2 more x's. Okay, this turns into x times x times x is x cubed, or x to the third power. Okay, now let's look at our y. Okay, y cubed, there are no more y's. Okay, so y cubed just stays y cubed. Okay, so now we can take all 3 of our pieces and put them together. Okay, so we got a 2 coefficient, x cubed, and y cubed. Okay, there's nothing else to combine, there's nothing else to simplify, so that is our simplified answer. Okay, number 2. So number 2, I see that there's this fraction bar in the middle. That means it's being divided. Okay, and when it's being divided, that tells us that we're going to have to use our quotient rule. Okay, so our quotient rule means that things either subtract or they cancel. So I'm actually going to rewrite this. Okay, so we have 4x cubed on top, so x times x over 3, another x cubed, so x times x times x. Okay, whenever you have the same things on top and bottom, okay, it's being divided by itself, it can cancel. So I see that all 3 of these x's can cancel. And that means we have no more x's in our answer. So we check and see, can we reduce 4 over 3? No, nothing goes into 3 that also goes into 4 except for 1, so it doesn't change it. So our simplified answer is simply 4 over 3. Perfect. Okay, let's go to number 3. So in number 3, I see that I have some parentheses, okay? So whenever you see these parentheses, you know you might have to be doing power to power, okay, if you see that it has an exponent on the outside. If there's no exponent, okay, that simply means they're trying to trick you and you don't even need those parentheses. Okay, but if you have parentheses, then it's all to a power. That's our power to power rule. So what we need to do now is we need to take that 3 and it multiplies or distributes to every single base. Okay, remember that 2 is also a base. So we had 2x and y. But before we multiply, do you see anything that we can simplify here? What is this x to the 0? Remember our 0 rule? What is anything to the 0 power? Okay, that's simply 1. That whole x just turns into a 1, so you don't even need the x. It's simply a 1. And whenever you multiply anything by 1, it stays the same, so technically we don't even need that 1 anymore. So the only thing we need to multiply is this 2 to the first and y to the 4th. Okay, so let's take the 2 first. So our base is 2, and we have 1 times 3. It's going to give us 3. Okay, now my next base is y because that x turned into the 1, right? We don't even need it anymore. So y to the 4 times 3, which is 12. Okay, but remember we have to bring down what we haven't used yet. Okay, we are not simplified because I see more than one y. Okay, you must have only one of each base. So let's look at my y. This is y to the first power, and it's being multiplied by 12 more y's. So y to the first times y to the 12th is really saying y to the 1 plus 12, right? I have 1 y here, I have 12 more right there. Y is going to be to the power of 13. Okay, that 2 is the only 2 base, so we don't have to combine that with anything, so that just stays 2 cubed. So now I have my 2 pieces of my answer, so I can write it out. 2 cubed times y to the 13th. And that is my simplified answer. Okay, let's look at number 4. Last example. Okay, so I noticed the first thing that pops out to me, and maybe it's just because it's my favorite rule, because I think it's really easy, is I see this y to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is that 1, so that turns into just a 1. Okay, and anything multiplied by 1 doesn't change it, so we can just look at the x cubed and the 2. Okay, the next thing that jumps out to me is this y to the negative 3rd power. Okay, remember whenever we have a negative exponent, it grabs only its base, right? Only what's right in front of it, which is just the y, and it switches. So it was on bottom, now it's on top. So I'm going to rewrite this. Okay, so on top, what was already there was that x cubed, okay, times that 2. We don't have to write the 1, but now we have a y to the positive 3. Since it switched sides, it became positive. Okay, what's left on bottom is just that 2. Okay, now look, do we have anything that's the same on top and bottom? We do. We have a 2 over 2, so that can cancel. So we have nothing left on bottom, which means we don't have to write anything because it's just an invisible 1. Okay, so now all that we have left is x cubed and y cubed. And that is our simplified answer. Okay, so that was just a quick jog your memory on exponent rules because your at-home assignment is going to be exponent practice. Okay, so you're going to do that independently. Again, if you come to class on Monday, you should be completing this on Wednesday. If you come to class on Wednesday, you should be completing this on Monday. If you are only an online student, you can choose which day to complete it. Okay.